hobby homesteaders, welcome back to Peaks Peak. My name's Lucas and we're sharing our hobbies on 38 acres in eastern Kentucky, and I'm going to start today's video by doing something that's going to make you cringe. I 1000% am not a proponent of using Fix-A-Flat for daily use and really fixing problems. But in emergencies, it can come in pretty handy. And well, my tire, at least the left front tire, already has 4 plugs in it. So I'm kind of just crippling it by, and I've left the BX up here in the wood yard for the past few days, and when I come up here it's flat. I have to air it back up, and so I thought, well, I'll run to the dollar store and I'll grab a can of Fix-A-Flat and throw in it, and maybe it'll last longer before it goes flat again. Well, I got to drive it around and circulate that stuff a little bit. But I'm gonna tell you, my plan already backfired on me because I don't know, the stuff wasn't going in the tire very well, and then apparently the button on the can didn't fully release when I took the hose loose, and it sprayed all over my face and all over my clothes. I probably still have it on me. I don't have a mirror to look, but it is a big disaster, and I just didn't have the camera on me when it happened. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna drive this thing around and circulate that in the tire a little bit, and hopefully the air will stay in it for a little bit longer. And then I'm gonna grab the stump grinder and drag it out and grind these last 3 stumps out of our equipment shed area. Now, when I ground the last stump in this equipment shed area, I actually had somebody comment, and they're exactly right. They said, well, if you just grind it below ground level and leave it there, it's eventually gonna rot out and it'll leave a hole, and you know, it'll be a bad spot. If you're putting concrete in, then it's gonna cause your concrete to settle and crack and all that. That's exactly right, except this is literally a barn that's going to have a dirt floor. Maybe some gravel at some point, but basically this is a roof over the top of equipment to keep it out of the sun and the rain, make it last a little bit longer and keep it looking nice a little bit longer. This is not going to be a concrete garage that's going to be finished out. So I'm not really worried about the stumps decaying and the ground settling over time, because when it does, I'll just grab the box blade and shove a little more dirt in there and smooth it back out and go on about my life. That's the kind of build this is. So I have 3 more stumps back here in the back, and actually I really need to bring up the grade a little bit. So I honestly probably don't even need to grind these down very far. I just need to bring in some dirt. But we've got a stump grinder, so I figure it's going to make it easier for me to bring in the dirt and pack it and everything if I go ahead and grind these stumps down a little bit first. So that's what we're going to do. Well, the old MechMaxx stump grinder is a little bit dirty because it's been sitting out here for I've had it for about 6 months now. And you know, as I'm making these videos and I'm up here working, I always have thoughts going through my head of, you know, the things that I'm working with or whatever. And last night I had the pleasure of being on a live stream with Ed from My Cluttered Garage, along with several other great content creators. Beforehand, we were kind of chit-chatting about different tractor brands and things we like and don't like and all of those things. And we were actually kind of discussing the reputation that some content creators get for promoting a brand of this or that. We take a lot of flack for people not trusting when we tell them that we like a particular product if we're sponsored by them, and that's completely understandable. But I also had to kind of laugh as I was thinking about some of the interactions that I've had with customers, and also seeing some videos lately of upset customers bashing a company as well as content creators over a product that they weren't happy with. I came here to get my stump grinder out, and it kind of reminded me of something that I'm just going to go ahead and share with you guys, whether I should or not. The reason I have this particular stump grinder right here is because an upset customer complained that it was junk and they wanted a full refund. The team at MechMaxx said, you're not too far from this person, so if we have it shipped to you, will you inspect it, figure out what's wrong with it, and if you want it, you can repair it or fix whatever's wrong with it, and then you can make a video out of it, use it, whatever you want to do. When this machine arrived, the clutch was completely smoked on it, and I mean so smoked that the crankshaft was blue. They got it so hot. Now there's only one way to do that, and that is to set that cutting wheel down on a stump while the clutch is slipping and just continue to let the throttle run at full throttle while the wheel is not turning. That's the only way you can really smoke a clutch that hard and get it that hot. Sometimes you have customers that just don't know how to use a machine. And sure, instructions and all of those things will go a long way. And so I don't know the particular situation on this one, how much training they had or what documentation came with this to prepare them to use it. But obviously they didn't know how to use it. And they destroyed the machine, but blamed the company. And this is not the only instance that I've seen this, because I have several other machines and products that were sent to me because the customer said it was junk or it arrived in terrible condition and it's completely unusable. That has never been the case. Every piece of equipment that I've gotten that was junk and had to be returned had very minor issues, and most of them were a matter of the customer not knowing how to operate it. And one of them did have the spark plug broke off during shipping, and I guess they just felt like, well, if it took a hit that broke off the spark plug, then I don't want it. But that was the only thing I had to do to repair the machine, was put a spark plug in it. So I share that to say that everybody's on a different level when it comes to mechanical aptitude and operating skills and all of those things. And in that discussion that we were having about the responsibility of content creators to be honest and objective when they're reviewing sponsored products, there was one particular, I mean, I wouldn't really call him a content creator because he rarely puts out any videos. It's obviously not something that he's putting, tons of effort into, but he's in our world of content creators, and he commented in one of our Facebook groups that I think that's entirely true, that content creators mislead the public when they're sponsored, because I work commercially and I know some of these sponsored products out here would never be used on a commercial job site. We're not using them on commercial job sites. For instance, the MechMaxx sawmill. There is no way I would ever promote this sawmill as a mill that you should buy to start a lumber milling company to support and feed your family on. That's not who they're marketing it to. It's a hobbyist slash homeowner slash residential slash farmers sawmill, where you can have a sawmill for a few $1,000s and not spend $30,000 or $40,000 to buy a commercial grade sawmill. There are all different levels and all different needs out there. So when you watch the videos, you as a consumer have to decide, does this fit the way I'm going to use it or not? That all seems relatively simple to me, but there's a lot of people that don't understand that. I don't know, those are the thoughts that were going through my head, and I don't even know that I'll include this in the video. But as I was pulling out the stump grinder, I just was reminded of this customer being so upset because this was garbage, yet I put a clutch on it and replaced the belts, put it back together, and I have ground probably 30 stumps now with no problems at all. Doesn't seem like junk to me. So yeah, I kind of love my little stump grinder. It's handy. I mean, seriously, that 5 minutes, that stump's gone. Five minutes and 40 seconds on that one. $11 minutes on that one. So, 21 minutes. Give or take a minute or two. We ground out those 3 stumps. Pretty sweet if you ask me. So, it's got 3 more stumps under its belt. We've got a little bit smoother area here, so I should be able to drag the box blade around without getting hung up on stuff. Now, I gotta find me some dirt or get me some creek rock hauled in. Kind of level this out. I may go with the creek rock route, but I got to figure out how to get it up here. I hate to ask the neighbors to bring a big old dump truck up their driveway to get here because, you know, I mean, a big old dump truck's gonna be hard on their driveway, and I don't think it can come up my trail. Man needs a dump trailer, that's what it needs. If I had me a big old tractor, a big old dump trailer, then I could go get some creek gravel, level that out, and we'd be in business. Now guys, listen, when I share my thoughts on, you know, things about reputation and sponsorships and all that kind of stuff, I hope that that comes across in the way that I intended, because what I'm trying to do is just be real with you guys who have been investing in watching our channel. Because obviously this YouTube thing, you know, it's a business and it's a hobby and it's a whole lot of fun. And I don't want to put on an act as though the only thing I ever do or the only thing I ever think about is milling logs and building buildings, because a big part of this is the business side of it. And I just kind of like to be open about that and let you guys know the things that are on my mind. I don't know. I am really enjoying all of these things that we get to do to make content. It's a really good time. All right, well, since I'm up here, I might as well grind up this pile of scrap I got laying here by the wood chipper. And that's about going to do it for tonight. So let's go ahead and fire this up. This one hasn't been started in a while. Hope it's got some fuel in it. I'll be honest, I think I might have stole the fuel out of it the other day when I was out up here. But it would kind of appear so. Let's put some fuel in it. Okay, we're going to give her another try. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is another one of those instances where there's safety switches on this and things that can keep it from working right, but there's also clutches and belts that if you're not listening to the machine and hear when it gets jammed up, you'll smoke that clutch and burn the belts right off of it. By design, there's nothing MechMaxx could do to make that better. It's part of operating the machine. And that's one thing I think a lot of people don't understand with some machines like this is you kind of need to understand how they're made to work so that you know how to operate it correctly. This particular machine, you can hear it. The belts will start squealing, and if you don't get it shut off right away, it'll burn your belts up, and then you got to buy new belts. So you just have to pay attention. It's been a good machine. I've not had any breakdowns or any issues with it. Let's fire it up. Got a little something in there. Just about always when you start it, you got to check this. Yeah, it's got a chunk still in there from last time. But see how you could hear it wasn't revving up, and so you got to shut it off and find out what the problem is. All right, let's do this. These wood chippers are not made for chipping actual dimensional lumber like what we had laying there. But the ends of most of that wood, they were either thin pieces or the ends of them were rotted. And I have 3 boards here that I was able to grind the rotten ends off of. And what I'm left with is good solid hardwood. And these are oak. I didn't want to try to force them through it the rest of the way, but everything else we got chipped up. And yeah, we're getting a decent little pile of chips going here. I had to plug this story in here because it's so fitting. And I'm going to tell you, the world is full of all kinds of people. I won't share too many details because I don't want to give away who was involved or what company or anything like that. But I was talking to a representative of a company that sells some products and implements, and it wasn't MechMaxx. But they were talking about an incident they ran into where somebody was using one of their pieces of equipment. And something wasn't right, something wasn't working right, and they didn't shut it off. They just started disassembling it. And they disassembled it so far that things started flying off of it. I mean, it is a piece of equipment with spinning parts, and things started flying off, and a blade flew off and nearly took the man's life. And then the man tried to sue the company for not warning him that could happen. Now, he didn't win, and you know, but that's the kind of stuff you're dealing with. You know, people that don't understand their McDonald's coffee is going to be hot. As a small business owner, you always have to be thinking ahead and trying to read people's minds to make sure you give them what they want. You know, in the service industry, like where we sell coffee, sometimes the customer doesn't know what the name of the drink or the flavor is that they want. They know what they want it to taste like, but they're trying to order something specific. As the person taking the order, it's your job to do a little investigating and kind of find out and make sure you get them what they want, especially if they seem a little uncertain about it. And that's just kind of the way things work. And so there's a balance there somewhere. It's just not always easy to see it, depending on which side of the fence you're on, you know. Got done what I'm going to get done for tonight up here. Just kind of piddling around, and Cameron called and he has something he's wanting me to help him with on his Miata. So I'm going to run down there and help him out for the rest of the evening. Call it a day. Well, guys, listen, I hope you enjoyed today's video, getting to see us grind some stumps and chip some wood and get a little bit closer to building our equipment shed and rant for a little bit. I'm not much of a ranter usually, and I wouldn't really call that a rant. Just sharing thoughts going through my head and some of the things that I'm dealing with on my side. And, you know, it is what it is. Till next time, get outside and enjoy God's creation because it's beautiful out here. Y'all have a good day.